Early morning. The plan was to catch the sunrise, but it's a cloudy ass day. It's been fucking raining. So we just walking in a drizzle right now, man. And you know, when I was younger, I placed primary value on like the thinking side of things, you know, like the capacity to try and like intellectually make sense of things and articulate what it is that you see and kind of theoretically and intellectually diagnose problems and theorize. I looked at that as primary, bro, you know, but that's really shifted with time, man, because when I think about it, I think the person who just kind of thinks a lot, you know, and is able to like see patterns or thinks they can see patterns and diagnose problems and kind of, you know, look at people who are doing things in the different arenas of life, whether it's sports, whether it's political, whether it's business, and pick out the problems and, you know, say, this can be improved, this can be improved, this is wrong. That is a valuable thing. But if you do that for 10 years, bro, you do that for 10 years with an innate sense that this capacity to intellectualize things and articulate things and think things through is gonna get you where you want to get to. If you do that for 10 years, as opposed or in comparison with someone who, for 10 years, instead of doing that, kind of just actively just takes action, bro, even in a flawed way, and stumbles forward. That action bias, I think if you just take action and you stumble forward with a certain level of humility and ability to like acknowledge when you flop and like a real desire to learn and continuously build on what you might have not known, after 10 years, that type of action bias will put you in a better position than someone who was able to think, who's able to think through the thing that you're doing, maybe a lot better than you. But through taking the action, first of all, you kind of learn the nuances that come with doing what you want to do, because certain things can only be learned when you embody them. You know what I mean? It's like Roger Federer I heard someone say this, Roger Federer can swing his fucking tennis racket and do the most. But if you were to ask him to like intellectually tell you how he does it, he can't tell you about how his fucking muscles move and, you know, how the action happens intellectually, you know. That stuff is learned through action. And then also through having that type of action bias, you also kind of engage in the spaces where the people who do what you want to do are. And if you do that humbly for a certain amount of time, even though you stumble and you continuously fuck up, if you have a real desire to learn and you are in those spaces, over time you end up becoming synonymous or associated with that type of space and that type of environment. And the people in those spaces just end up kind of, you know, bringing you on board to do projects and kind of live and engage productively within that space because you become associated with that space. So the point I'm making to myself that I'm just kind of, you know, trying to articulate, because like I said, I used to think being able to articulate shit and think shit through really matters. You know, the point that I'm trying to articulate at this point is that in my early years, man, I thought being able to think things through and intellectualize things was primary. And it's definitely very important. But now I've definitely switched towards the idea that having an action bias and stumbling forward is actually more likely to get you where you want to get to. Because also when you know, this thing of overly intellectualizing things, it's a powerful thing, man. But when you're overly, like when you're sitting on the side of the arena and you're watching the fighters in the cage fight, you know, you don't have skin in the game. And it's easy for you, when you're looking from the outside, it's easy for you to pick out what's wrong and what's right and what could be done better and speak on that, And being able to speak on that and feel like you know better than the people who are in the ring, it really boosts your sense of self, And it's gratifying to your ego because you're able to feel like you know what's up without actually having skin in the game and playing the game and taking the L's that the people who are actually playing the game take, And it having this bias towards thinking and not actually immersing yourself in action. I also look at it as it's like mental masturbation, man, because you play around with ideas in your head, and there's this little game that you play with yourself where you pick out problems and you articulate them well to yourself in your mind and to other people, and you feel like you have an edge on people because of your ability to kind of intellectually make sense of these things, or at least articulate them in a systematic way that makes sense. And it feels good. It feels good, man. It's gratifying. But if that's not actually aligned to some sort of action, then does it matter, bro? And aligning it to some sort of action just means actually aligning it to some sort of action. Either doing the things that you think you know so much about, and when you do that, you'll soon learn that you don't know so much about it, and probably only 30% of, or even 20% of getting things done can be supported or made easier than knowledge. With knowledge, 20% of getting things done can be made easier with knowledge, but the bulk of actually getting those things done has to do with action. Yeah. This is the long-winded way of saying I think a bias towards action is a lot better. A bias towards action and being humble, willing to take L's and continuously learn is a lot better than having a bias towards just thinking and intellectualizing things. Because when you constantly just think and intellectualize things, it's easy to gratify your ego and sense of self by thinking you know more and you're better than other people who are actually in the arena because you can point out their flaws, But unless you're in the arena, you're not in the arena, And you're not really doing the things that you think about and you think you understand. And when you're not doing it, you're not really about it like that, And the kind of nuanced and unarticulatable knowledge and understanding that comes with action can't be replaced by thinking. Action biased over thinking biased. That's how I'm going to go into the next 25 years of my life. First 25, I was just in my head, man. Next 25, let's switch it up. Shit. Starting to think I'm not that good at articulating shit. It took me a whole 8 minutes to just say that. But, yeah. Note to myself. Yeah.